The ivy-clad Gothic facade of Ashwood High had always been a point of pride for the small town. Established in the early 1900s, the school had stood as a testament to architectural grandeur and educational excellence. But in November 1985, the school became infamous for an event so terrifying that it would haunt the memories of all who lived through it. It was a typical Friday afternoon. The final bell had rung and the corridors were quickly emptying as students rushed to start their weekends. However, a dedicated group of drama club members remained behind to rehearse for their upcoming play. Sarah, a senior and the lead actress, stood on the stage of the old auditorium, her voice echoing through the empty space. "Let's run through the final scene one more time," she said, her tone laced with urgency and determination. The other members, Mark the director, Jenny the set designer, Tom the tech guy, and Lisa the scriptwriter, nodded in agreement. They were determined to perfect their performance. As they rehearsed, the school's PA system crackled to life. The principal's voice, filled with an urgency that was both unfamiliar and unnerving, echoed through the halls. "Attention all students and staff, this is a lockdown. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Secure all doors and remain silent." The announcement sent a chill down their spines. The group exchanged worried glances before quickly moving to lock the auditorium doors. "What's going on?" Tom asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know," Mark replied, trying to remain calm. "But we need to follow protocol and stay quiet." The five of them huddled backstage, the flickering emergency lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The once familiar and comforting space now felt like a trap. Minutes turned into hours. The oppressive silence was broken only by the distant hum of the school's ventilation system. Sarah peered through a crack in the auditorium door, trying to see if anyone was outside. "I don't see anything," she whispered, "but I feel like we're being watched." Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the school, followed by the sound of shuffling footsteps. They froze, hearts pounding in their chests. "Did you hear that?" Jenny asked, her voice trembling. "It sounded like it came from the science wing." "We need to stay put," Mark insisted. "We can't risk leaving." The footsteps grew louder, approaching the auditorium. The door handle rattled violently, as if someone or something was trying to get in. The door burst open and a figure stumbled in. It was Mr. Thompson, the janitor, his face pale and eyes wide with terror. "You have to get out of here," he gasped. "There's something in the school." "What do you mean?" Tom asked, panic rising in his voice. "What's going on?" Before Mr. Thompson could answer, a guttural growl echoed from the hallway. His eyes widened in horror. "It's coming, hide," he shouted. They scrambled to find hiding places among the props and set pieces. Sarah hid behind a curtain, peeking out to see what was happening. The growl grew louder, and a monstrous figure entered the auditorium. It was humanoid but twisted and grotesque, with long claw-like fingers and eyes that glowed with a malevolent light. Mark whispered, "What is that thing?" The creature sniffed the air, its growls echoing through the room. It moved with unnatural speed, searching for its prey. Sarah grabbed a loose piece of metal from the floor and threw it across the room. The noise drew the creature's attention and it rushed towards the sound. "Now's our chance," she whispered. "We need to get out of here." They made a break for the emergency exit while the creature was distracted. They ran through the darkened hallways, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. They reached the science wing only to find the doors locked. Mark fumbled with the keys he had taken from Mr. Thompson, trying to unlock the door as the creature's growls grew closer. "Hurry, hurry, it's coming," Tom urged. The door finally unlocked and they rushed inside, barricading it behind them. They found themselves in the old chemistry lab, surrounded by dusty equipment and broken glass. "We're not going to make it, are we?" Lisa asked, her voice filled with despair. "We have to stay strong," Sarah said, trying to keep her composure. "There has to be a way out." They searched the lab for anything that could help them. Tom found a cabinet with old chemicals and started mixing them, hoping to create a makeshift weapon. "This might be our only chance," he said. "If I can make something that explodes, we can use it to distract or hurt it." The pounding on the door grew more violent, the wood starting to splinter. Tom worked quickly, mixing the chemicals as the others braced themselves for the creature's attack. The door burst open, and the creature charged in. Tom threw his makeshift bomb, and a bright flash filled the room, followed by a deafening explosion. The creature was momentarily stunned, giving the students a chance to escape through a broken window. They climbed out and ran across the school grounds, the cold night air hitting their faces. "Keep running, don't look back," Sarah shouted. They reached the main gate, which was locked. Mark climbed up and over, helping the others as they scrambled to safety. Behind them, the creature roared in frustration, unable to follow. The students collapsed on the ground outside the school, exhausted and shaken. Sirens wailed in the distance as police and paramedics arrived. As dawn broke, the nightmare at Ashwood High came to an end, but the scars of that night would remain forever. The police entered the school but found no trace of the creature. It was real. We all saw it, Sarah insisted to the officers. We'll investigate, a police officer replied. Right now you need to rest. Ashwood High was eventually abandoned, left to be reclaimed by nature. Its once grand halls now stood empty, filled with only the echoes of the past. Years later, the town would still whisper about the night the school went into lockdown. The details became distorted with each retelling, but the core of the story remained the same. Something had stalked the halls of Ashwood High, and the students who survived would never forget the horror they faced. For those who lived through it, the memories of that fateful night would haunt them for the rest of their lives, a dark chapter in the history of a school that once promised a bright future.